Good morning, folks. How are you? I'm Dianne Pruitt. Welcome to Rethunk Junk Saturday morning edition, almost like Saturday cartoons. If you've ever been here to Two Girls Treasure, you know we love to have fun, we love to paint furniture, and it is Saturday morning, so why not cartoons? I am Dianne Pruitt. We are here at Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina. Let me know when you come on, say hello, let me know that you can hear me. I do tend to be a little bit loud, but I do have my little microphone on, so I got a little bit more volume. I can't wait to show you what we have in store today. Let me click some pictures here. So this cabinet, it's huge. It's 8 feet long. It is 7 feet tall, and I needed a new workstation for our studio. I needed more room, I needed more versatility, and it needed some paint, y'all, because it was so old and orangey and pine and not really pretty. So we got a piece of backer board, painted it up in grassland, painted all those cubbies, and that's a lot of cubbies, but we painted all those in fresh sage. What an absolutely beautiful contrast. That's your first coat of fresh sage on the shelving, and that is your backer board in grassland. And yesterday Mel helped me, we put it together. Isn't that going to be a beautiful, beautiful cabinet? I need this in my life. I have the sunshine happening this morning. I have my Rethunk Junk Grassland, and I have my Rethunk Junk Fresh Sage. And I really want to show you how simple and easy it can be to take something this old, this orange, and I don't mean that in a Clemson Tiger kind of way, but we want to make it fresh. We want to make it look like it's a happy workstation. Proud to be here at Two Girls Treasure, and I'm glad you're here to join me to do this. I'm going to make sure we're live on the Rethunk Junk main page. Let me put my glasses on and make sure we're doing a thing. We are. Wonderful. All right. Volume down. Paintbrushes up. If you have your grassland, join me and do something spectacular in your world. If you don't have your grassland, well, it's early Saturday morning, so you have plenty of time to get to your local retailer and grab some Rethunk Junk paint products and do your Saturday spring freshen up. Let's get to it, y'all. I've cleaned all of this because I didn't want to take you through the prep process, but I can. Let me see who's close by. Mel, are you close to me? Or Charlotte, either one. This is really old and it was in a garage, so it was super, super dirty. Guys were using this as a workbench in a garage, and I'm sure for them it was fabulous. Good morning, Linda. Thank you. I wanted to make sure you could hear me. My black top prep bottle and a scrubby. I'll show you what I do when something is this old and this orange. Clearly it was stained. Thanks, babe.
And you mean like a
green,
scrubbing?
Yep. Something this old, something this orange, and something this dirty is going to take a little bit extra to clean. So normally what I would do, and I'll show you how I did the rest of this cabinet. I spray my, thank you, love. I spray my prep pretty liberally. I'm even going to do under here because it's dirty. The guys were using it, and you know, guys don't have the same concept of a workbench and a workstation as we do in painting. This is a great cabinet though. Lots of space for me to work. It even has electrical outlets under here, so I'm going to use this a lot. But I take a green Scotch-Brite pad. These are a little bit gritty, so when you use one of these with your prep, make sure you go back one more time, spray your prep on, and wipe it clean. But this is going to get a little bit of that dirt and grime that the men left behind. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna scrub it clean so we can make it beautiful. The Scotch-Brite helps knock that polyurethane shine down. Good morning, y'all. Hey, Angie. Oh, Linda, the grassland. I'm gonna tell you what, the more I use it, the more I love it. So let's get all of this cleaned up. Just a quick little scrub over. And that will not only knock the shine down, but it will give us a nice surface to paint over. It'll be good and clean. I'm going to spray it one more time to get the grit from the Scotch-Brite scrubby pad off my furniture. And don't be afraid to use your prep. Use the prep. It is a tool in your furniture refinishing. Use it. It's not expensive. You're not going to run out on one project unless you're doing a whole kitchen. You might do that. And just a good once over with a rag, and see, it's still dirty, but it got the grit off, and that's what you want more than anything. You want a nice, smooth, clean, dry surface to start with. And then here comes the great part. I have my Wooster 2-inch shortcut because this is one of my favorite brushes to work with. I'm doing a lot of surface area, but today I'm also doing a little bit of architectural. So, as my backup, I have my Miracle brush. It's tapered, it's nice and soft, but it has a firm finish to it. So when I use this, I can split that architecture. I can make my paint move nice and smoothly without drips and runs or missing spots that your flat brush just can't do the same. You need more than one tool in your toolbox, so don't be afraid to have multiple paint brushes out at one time, and you will be able to, I lost you for a second, let me go there. There we are. You'll be able to do a lot of work quickly. I'm going to click you over to the overhead view. That way you can see everything I'm working on from above, because I know you don't want to see me down here on the floor. Let's get to cracking on this. Caution, when you're opening your Rethunk Junk lids, be careful how you bang them. If you bang them too hard, you'll break them. Before I start, I'm going to take my other spray bottle and I'm just going to gently mist my bristles. I want them a little bit damp so that when the paint goes on, it's not soaking so much material into the paintbrush. I'm very frugal and I don't want to waste it. So I'll take my Miracle brush and I'll start right here on this top edge. Now I've already done the cubbies and I went ahead and did the surface. We're gonna have to retouch a couple of spots because you know I'm impatient, and I went ahead and put the cubbies up there before the surface was really dry, so I knocked some paint off. If you do not let your paint dry well, if you scratch your paint an hour after you've painted, it's gonna come off. Anybody's paint would do that, not just ours. You really have to let your paint have the dry time it needs so that once you finish your work, you don't have to do it twice. And see, that Miracle brush gets right in there It does that architectural work for you. It gets up under that lip edge. This is a nice long cabinet, y'all. It's gonna take some doing to do this. There we go. But here's the beautiful thing. What I discovered about Grassland in doing this cabinet is that it literally only took 2 coats and it was perfect coverage. I was amazed. I love my Grassland and I'm loving it even more every project that I do. But with the fresh sage, this is such a beautiful spring combination and a perfect repurpose. There we go. Just like that, our first coat is on. Now we'll always tell you, don't overwork the paint. Let the paint work for you. It does a job and it does it well. Put it on, leave it alone. It'll level out. If you don't have full coverage on your first coat, it's okay. We're gonna do a second coat. And I promise, with this color, your second coat is all you're gonna need. Let's get this done right here. I'm gonna use my Miracle brush and I'm gonna open these drawers because I wanna make sure I get right down beside the drawers. Plus I have this architecture on the drawers. So I wanna use my Miracle brush in those areas as well. It's smooth, it goes down the line, it covers the architecture, and you don't have any mist spots and you don't have a lot of drips and runs. All right, away we go. Look at that coverage. I'm always amazed at the difference in Rethunk Junk Paint products and any of the products I've ever used in my life. I've been playing with furniture for a really long time, and I have found that the coverage of this paint is absolutely unmatched. Look how beautiful and bright that's going to make the underside of this cabinet. Now let me see if I can get this done without getting my hair in it. If you have questions about using Rethunk Junk Paint, make sure you join the Rethunk Junk Paint Q&A page. That is our question and answer page. And that's where you'll get answers directly from Rethunk Junk, from retailers of Rethunk Junk Paint products, and from other people who have used the product and love it too. And it's always great to have some friends who love doing what you do and do it the same. I'm going to swap these cameras back and I'm going to pull you in so you can see how the underside of this cabinet goes. And I will try to stay out of your way. There we go. Perfect. All right, we'll spin you around right here. Look at that. Just that one panel with one coat of paint is amazing coverage. Now we have guests in the store right now, and if you're local to Florence, South Carolina, please feel free to come on by and join us. And if you have questions about the paint, Mel and Charlotte are both here, and we'll be glad to help you. And just like that. Simple, easy. I'm echoing under here. But look how great that looks. What a difference Grassland can make. Let me scooch it around. I don't want to be doing the back side show, so we'll do the front side show, okay? All right. Make sure you share these videos and invite your friends to love Rethunk Junk. we go. And if someone with Rethunk Junk is on, drop that link for the retailer's locator. If you don't have a local retailer, you can order directly from Rethunk Junk online. You can order from your nearest retailer who ships. But if you have someone who's within a day trip drive of you, make sure you get in touch and go visit. I'll bet you'll find a wealth of information, super tips, and you'll make a new friend too. I'm loving this. This is so much better than it was. This is going to be bright, beautiful spring. I'd love to make this a potting bench, but I really need it here in the paint studio. One more time up underneath here. I've got a hole cut in the back so I can run my cords out. Here we go. And the thing about this is pine. This is old pine. And one of my greatest fears about painting this piece with this light of a color, I was worried about bleed through. A lot of lumber, raw lumber, stained lumber, old wood has a problem. It likes to bleed through, especially when you're using a lighter color like grassland, cotton, cloud. It gets really ugly sometimes. I wanted to paint this grassland, but I had concerns about how the wood was going to react. If you sand, you have to expect that it's just like opening the pores of the wood. And you may experience some bleed through if you sand the wood first. If you clean it really well and make sure that it is not shiny anymore, you are knocking down the shine from the old polyurethane and stain, and you probably stand a pretty good chance that you may have bleed through. So how do you overcome that? Well, it's really kind of simple. You just seal it first. Not with a primer, not with another product. You really don't need to. Seal it with your Tough Top if you really feel like you are worried about bleed through, or if you start experiencing bleed through. Old wood is just what it is. Had a lot of sap in it. They were mature trees. Not like we have today. They'll cut a tree down in a skinny minute, won't they? The coverage of grassland over this has been fantastic. I didn't have to Tough Top this. I did test it before I started, and it went over, it covered, and it dried just fine without any bleed through issues. That's kind of unusual for old pine, but I was thankful. Saved me an extra step and the worry that this was not going to work the way I envisioned it. But there we go. We are about 10 or 12 minutes in to this bottom cabinet, and look how amazing the coverage is. So you can do so many different combinations once you do this. This needs to dry. I'm impatient. Are you? Because that's kind of tough to get through. But let me show you. I'm going to click back over to the top view. Are we there? Yes. Look how good that's going to look. But you have to let it dry. A couple of things happen if you don't. Your paint will peel off, your paint won't cover. You'll peel back what you already put on. You have to be patient. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. But if you're patient, if you let it dry, you will have an amazing finish that you will not regret having. You will love this. Let's scoot back and let's get this side. Let me go back to this camera. I know I'm bouncing you back and forth, but I'm trying to make sure I stay out of the camera. All right, let's see. And that's not easy down here on the floor, is it? We're gonna pop this drawer open and pop this drawer open. Let's get these side pieces. Let's get some good coverage on that. Rethunk Junk Paint Products is an American-owned and operated paint manufacturer located in Millen, Georgia. There are 45 colors available on the chart, and there are endless mixing possibilities. You can make almost any color you want. Here we go. 7 metallics, 2 different finishes. You can have a satin finish just like the paint, or you can tone it down a little bit and you can do a metallic, flat finish. Now my mind's on metallics. But with each successive coat of Rethunk Junk Paint products, metallics, clear coats, you will get a superior quality finish that will last you a long time. And if you like to redecorate, don't get rid of what you have. Just rethink it. Rethink the color, rethink your color schemes, make your paint match your vision. Do your vision board, and then go to your local retailer and get your color. Now, I didn't take the hardware off. I'm going to paint over it with the grassland, and then later on I'm going to come back over the top of that with my fresh sage for a little bit of contrast. Here we go. Done. Now I've got this little piece right here, so I'm going to catch hold of it just like that. Once I finish this drawer right here, I'm going to show you how to make some corrections with the paint, because I made some mess ups yesterday when we put the cabinet back on top, and I want to show you how to fix that. What do you do if your paint wasn't completely dry, or your paint wasn't cured enough, and you chip it, or you peel it, or you scratch it? It's not hard to fix. I'll show you how. Let's do this drawer, and then I'll get up off the floor and I'll show you what to do. We'll just change the camera angles. There we go. All right. Paint that hardware. Are you loving Grassland now? Do you have it in your stock of paint? If you don't, today's the day. Saturday is the perfect go get your Rethunk Junk Paint day. Go to rethunkjunkbylaura.com and click the drop box, and you'll see a tab for Find a Retailer. Go there, find who's local, get your Rethunk Junk paints. Now, I am going to switch back over. Oh, I got to see what I'm doing here. There we go. There we go. Let me move that, and let me re-angle you just a little bit, because I want to show you. Here's my upper cabinets. And my sunshine that my sweet girl made. So when we moved this, we scratched it. We even scratched it over here on the side. Let me see if I can get a camera over here and show you what that looks like, because that turned into kind of a mess and we need to fix that. So let me slide this over and I'll show you. If you have put fresh paint on and you scratch it, you can fix it. It's simple and easy as it is to paint. So let's, one more drop. This thing goes real tall. I'm missing one. There we go. There we go. I knew I was missing a leg there. Live Facebook and adjustments being what they are. There we go. Now you'll be able to see the damage that we did and how we're going to fix it. Let me swap you back over to this first camera angle and let me sit you right here. When you're working on something huge, oh, that one's not tight. Excuse me. There we go. You see that? We scratched it. I scratched this end. Mel didn't do this. I did. Oh, she helped. She didn't do this, though. She heard me, y'all. But you see all the scratches? That was fresh paint. And I didn't mean to do it, but I sure did it. So here's how to correct that. Make sure that you knock all the loose pieces off. Make sure it's good and dry first. Once you have the loose pieces knocked off, take your paint, take your brush, and gently paint over them. Now, I would need to do a second coat on this anyway, so I'm just going to fill in what I damaged, and I'm going to let it dry. It will level into those crevices, and that way when I go to do the full second coat, this will all be level. You won't see ghosting around these spots. It won't look like there are gouges, paint gouges underneath your second coat. It really is that simple to make corrections when you do damage. I wish all the things that I did damage to were this easy to correct, y'all. This is just not hard. This part is the easiest, simplest correction tool there is. I'm going to hit that bottom edge. I had it on the floor and I couldn't paint that from the floor. There we go. And if you're already a Rethunk Junk Paint user, make sure you visit and join us on the Creating with Rethunk Junk Paint Co. Creating with RTJ Paint Co. page. That's the page where you share your before and after photos and all the wonderful work that you've done with your Rethunk Junk Paint products. Now that you're addicted to getting your grassland today, let's work on fresh sage. This is probably one of the most comfortable combinations that I have done recently. I love bright colors. I love different paint themes, not just schemes, but themes. I love to paint multicolors. So when I do something like this that's soft and gentle, not plugged in, I am amazed at how beautiful and simple just a 2-color combination can be. And once it's done, this is gonna be the most beautiful workstation I think we've had here at Two Girls Treasure. Now, I'm doing this side panel, and I've got a small brush I'm working with because I wanted to be able to get the corners, and I've got these faces of these boards to do. I scratched this cabinet right here too. I scratched a piece on the top. Y'all, I made a mess after we got this thing painted and finished. But just a little bit of touch up, just a little bit of extra paint covers those spots. Make sure you don't scratch test your paint before it's cured. Dry time, 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes if there's a lot of humidity. Cure time. Cure time is always going to be, no matter what paint brand you use, but cure time for Rethunk Junk Paint is how hard your surface becomes after the paint has settled completely, dried completely, hardened completely, and it's still going to be 30 days all the time. Don't scratch your paint. There's no need for, nobody needs that kind of negativity. Let your paint live, let it breathe, let it dry, let it harden. Then scratch test it, and I promise you won't be disappointed. The scratch on Rethunk Junk should not happen for the first 30 days. Let's just run some of this fresh sage right up against the edge of this grassland. And look, I have some more grassland spots I need to correct. So we'll set down our fresh sage. We'll grab our grassland brush and let's do some touch up. That's where I shot the back plate with the nail gun. I dripped my fresh sage on top of my grassland. I'll wipe it off and cover it up. Problem solved. But I've got some chips right here on the top. I'm gonna fill those in. You can do this. Go grab your fresh sage. Go grab your grassland. Find something at the thrift or in a yard sale or in your own garage or in your stash of furniture. Here's something crazy. Grab something out of your own house that needs a freshen up. Fix the fixins, spray it with the prep, and make it beautiful and usable again. I'm going to step down here to this end because I have a correction to make down here as well. When we put the cabinet up, I've got it up on some little skid pads, we call them furniture movers. They're the tiny ones, but we scratched right here. So once I finish painting this today, I'm probably going to leave the upper cabinet on these little risers, jack stands if you're in the South. I'll leave them on the jack stands for the weekend so that the cabinet surface has time to dry up and harden up, and it'll do so without the weight of the uppers on it. If you're painting in your garage, make sure you've got it up off the floor. And if you have pieces to put together, make sure you don't put them back together for days, maybe a week, maybe 2. Let it dry, let it cure, let it do the right thing. And I've got some runs going on. This is what happens when you multitask paint. Always check your ridges and your edges. Who's heard me say that before? Don't let your paint run. You can correct it, but it's easier to catch it on the front end than it is to try to correct it later. Let's go back down here. Let's get these drawers and this end of the cabinet done. We have plenty of time. I love that I can do this and get get it done and carry on with my day. I'm gonna swap around. Ooh, I'm gonna swap around and be more careful. There we go. All right. I have a mess here in the studio only because I'm a messy child and we took everything off the old studio cabinet so that we could move it out and move this in. Rethunk Junk Paint to the rescue here. Beautiful color combinations and a Saturday project that you can actually finish. And I love that I don't get frustrated with having to sand everything down, prime it and wait for a week, paint it and wait for several days before I can finish it and use it. Now, gentle use. If you've heard any of us say anything about cure time, and you have, we just talked about it, gentle use for the first 30 days. That's what we want you to do with it, because we don't want you to go through all the work, simple as it can be, of painting something, making it beautiful, and then spoiling it before you get to enjoy it. So make sure, gentle use for the first 30 days with your Rethunk Junk Paint. Me, you know I'm not going to gentle use anything for 30 days in my studio. I will let this dry over the weekend, and come Monday I will dress this back because I have other projects I need to get finished, and I need my work area put back together. If I scratch it, if I ding it, if I mess up a spot, it's just as easy as I showed you to touch it up with just a little bit more paint. So I don't worry so much about it when it's in the studio. Should I? Maybe. But I have a lot more wonderful projects that I want to show you how to do. So I've got to get my workstation put back together. In between the drawers, my Wooster shortcut, this is just a really great brush to use. It fans very nicely when you're trying to cut in an edge. And just like that, you can get finished quickly. It's not too big, but it covers the surface area that I need covered very nicely, very quickly. And it loads up and smooths out so well with Rethunk Junk Paint. All right, now I'm gonna be in a pickle because I'm all the way at the end over here. I'm gonna tink down, and I am probably gonna do this inside, but I'm not gonna do it today. So today I'm just gonna do this edge, that edge. I'm gonna close this, and even though the paint around it is wet, I'm not gonna lay it in really hard because I don't wanna smush my paint that I just put on there. Load up the brush. Let's hit that door. Hit this bottom edge. I've got paint on the floor over here, and I may just roll out some paint and make me a studio faux rug to match this. Wouldn't that be pretty? I love a painted rug. Did you know you could paint fiber with Rethunk Junk Paint? You can. You can either pretend you've got fiber and you can create it, or you can paint fiber like rugs. You can paint fabric. You can paint your clothes. You can paint your shoes. You can paint glass, metal, plastic, and wood. You can paint for indoor and outdoor. You can paint your cabinets, your furniture, your cat, and your Easter eggs. This year, get the plastic ones because they are so much cheaper than the real deal. And the kids can play with them longer. Paint them with some Rethunk Junk Paint, and you will be the Easter egg winner. There we go. Don't paint the cat. Although I have to say, my little wild ferals love to get involved in my painting. They think it's their obligation. So don't call the SPCA on me. My kitties love to paint too. There we go. I'm gonna open this back up. I'm gonna hit this edge, come down this edge. And now, look how beautiful this cabinet's getting. Can you do this? You sure can. You absolutely can. I'm gonna move my paint down. I'm going to move my camera and I'm gonna swap you back. Let's let this dry. I've got a little run right there. Catch those runs before they dry. If you miss them, correct them just the same way you do a scratch. They're easy. All right, let's do the big finish here. We're almost done. This is all we lack to finish this base. Now this is 8 feet long, y'all. An 8-foot long cabinet, and we have been on live for 42 minutes, and it's almost done. I've got a fan over here that's gonna give me a fit because it's plugged in and I can't reach it. But we're gonna work around it. There we go. I think we've lost some viewers here, Rochelle, but I'm positive it's because they're on their way to their local retailers to get their Rethunk Junk Paint products so they can do their Saturday painting. Freshen up your front porch decor. Freshen up your flower pots. A few weeks ago, we did a beautiful flower pot with grassland and semi-sweet. And I can't wait to put some of my flowers in that and put it on the porch and let it live a beautiful, beautiful life. Until next year when I change my colors. And I don't have to spend the money to buy again. I can recycle what I have. Reduce, reuse, recycle, rethunk. There we go. Covered all those little dings and divots. And I'll paint down to the fan. Let's see if I can't put it back up here and get it out of the way. I think I can. There we go. Problem solved. Problem solved. Got a little ding right there. I'll fix the rest of them later. And I don't know, what are you going to do for the rest of your Saturday? Because this baby is almost done. I'm going to let this dry while you go out and grab your paint products. And by the time you get home with your paint products, I'll have the second coat on this piece, and I'll take photographs and post them. And then When you get started, I'll be done. Just like that. We've got this to do. Let's do it. Open that up. Did you think it would be so simple to do? Did you know you could get this done in like record time and still have time to do other activities? Well, as long as you're using your Rethunk Junk Paint products, you can and you will. It will always be this simple to repurpose something and make it beautiful and usable in your space. There we go. And when I open this back up, I'll touch back up behind it. Not worried about the hinges. I can clean those off when I get done. And remember, this is a workstation. I'm going to give it the best I can, but I'm going to use it. So I'm going to get paint on it, and I'm going to get resin on it, and I'm going to get things on it. And then I'll paint it again another day when I get ready to change my colors. But for the meantime, this spring and this summer, if you come visit, this is what you'll see at Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina. Just as simple and easy as pie. Just like that. You can do this too. You really can. Up off the floor. Bada boom. What do you think, y'all? Look at this beautiful cabinet. Look how amazing that looks complete. I love it. Absolutely love it. Run right now, don't walk. Run and get your Saturday Rethunk Junk supplies. Find something that really needs a spring freshen up. And I highly recommend grassland and fresh sage. What are your favorite colors to use? Give a shout out in the comments to your local retailer. We love our Rethunk Junk family of retailers across the country. If you have a storefront and you're not carrying Rethunk Junk Paint products, maybe today's the day for you to consider it. This is a wonderful product and it is affordable, and you will be able to repurpose and restyle furniture, home decor, garden decor without spending extra money, and you will be so happy with the process and the results. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or hop on over to the Rethunk Junk Q&A page and ask away. Meanwhile, I'm Dianne Pruitt. We're here at Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina, and I so thank you for joining me on the Rethunk Junk page for today's repurpose tutorial. Have a wonderful afternoon, and as Laura always says, happy rethunking.